Hello, I've returned with another ADH Wealth solution. Today, we will begin to discuss fulfilling all of your financial needs. As always, this is a basic description. For an evaluation of your own, please schedule an appointment. My information is in the description. Lastly, make sure you hit the like, drop a comment, and if you're new, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're made aware every time I release new content. Hello. I have returned. It's your boy, the insurance junkie, the fiduciary fella, your all-star advisor, Alonzo Hall, and I've come with another article for you today from MarketWatch. Today's article is The Real Reason Black Americans Have Less Life Insurance Coverage, published February 16, 2021, by Georgia Rose. How discriminatory practices have created a coverage gap. This article is reprinted by permission from NerdWallet. The relationship between life insurance and the African American community is complex. Although Black Americans are more likely to own life insurance than whites, a recent study shows their coverage is often far less. The sizable gap between Black and white Americans has many causes, experts say, including the way life insurance was sold. In the Black community, and how discriminatory practices have impeded access to coverage. Without adequate life insurance, families may find it difficult to protect and pass on assets to the next generation. It's not always obvious how much life insurance is enough, but there are always ways to calculate the right amount of coverage. What is the life insurance coverage gap? Black Americans typically have 1/3 of the coverage of their white counterparts, according to a 2020 study by Haven Life, an insurance company. Both groups had less than the recommended coverage amount outlined in the study of 5 to 10 times annual income. But Black respondents reported having life insurance equal to about a year's income, compared to almost 3 years' worth for whites. Having the right amount of life insurance can help beneficiaries cover costs like living expenses or debts. And given the COVID-19 pandemic, this safety net perhaps feels all the more necessary. But historically, life insurance was sold to African Americans as burial insurance. Smaller, cheaper policies that cover the bare minimum. Those door-to-door salesmen weren't always truthful with them, says Jessica Smith, an insurance agent in Marietta, Georgia, and clients weren't told about their options. Causes behind the coverage gap. After the Civil War, insurers began classifying Black people who were former slaves as higher mortality risks, meaning they were charged more or declined coverage altogether. Those practices stretched all the way into the 1960s, with separate sets of rates for Black and white applicants. Now, some states ban race-based underwriting, but many insurers simply took their business elsewhere, reducing access to coverage and segregating the industry. For a long time, Black people were excluded from the conversation of just protecting their assets and protecting their loved ones, says Malcolm Etheridge, Executive Vice President and Financial Advisor with CIC Wealth. Insurance companies would also find creative ways to not pay claims, Etheridge adds. So then there became this level of mistrust between the Black community and the insurance world. Years of discriminatory practices also reduced access to medical care, housing, and education for many Americans, and all these things can factor into the cost of life insurance. If an applicant with a high school diploma living in a poor neighborhood applies for the same $2 million policy as someone with a PhD living in an affluent neighborhood, neighborhood, the less educated applicant may get approved for coverage, but will likely pay substantially more for it, Etheridge says. If premiums are too expensive, coverage becomes inaccessible. Wealth may be harder to pass down, and the situation compounds. Why the gap is a problem. The legacy of segregation, redlining, and discriminatory policies has made accumulating generational wealth a challenge for many in the black community. And the Haven Life Study found that black Americans are more likely than whites to think of life insurance as a way to pass down generational wealth. This approach poses a problem when a person dies and is underinsured. In this case, assets that would have been passed down are often liquidated to pay for expenses, and less wealth is passed on, Etheridge said. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're enjoying the content, remember to hit that like, drop a comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're made aware every time I release new content. And as always, share. Lastly, if you'd like to contribute to channel growth, my information is in the description. Getting the right amount of coverage. Many of these causes are the result of bigger historical and social issues, making it hard for policyholders to close the gap themselves. And being underinsured isn't always easy to recognize. If you're not sure whether you have enough coverage, a financial advisor, insurance agent, or even an online calculator can help you to estimate how much life insurance you need. So guys, before I go on with this article, we're going to talk about what I recommend for life insurance and why I'm the all-star advisor versus what most people get. So this article is saying that a black person, let's say the average income in America is $50,000. So a black person will get a $50,000 to maybe $100,000 life insurance policy. And that will be what they do to pass on their assets. And that would be what an okay advisor would do. Now, an expert advisor will tell you that 50,000 times 20 is 1 million, so you need at least a $1 million life insurance policy to cover at least 20 years of your family's assets. Now, an all-star advisor like myself would understand that we're in a less than 1% money market account rate. So if you put your money in a money market account like Marcus Millichap with Goldman Sachs today, you're going to get 0.5% interest. So you would need a $10 million life insurance policy. And when you get those proceeds, you put that in that money market account, and 0.5% of 10 million is perpetually 50,000. Now that's what myself, the all-star advisor, would tell you to do. But of course you'd have to sit down with me and get the proper policy, because a $10 million policy can cost you $500 a month, or like my last client, he bought a $10 million policy that we overfunded and attached it to the S&P 500, but that's a monthly premium of $36,000. So I compare life insurance to Mercedes-Benz's. Like I said, if you purchase an A-Class, it starts at $34,000, and if you purchase an S-Class, it starts at $97,500. There's a reason for the difference. So remember, ladies and gentlemen, wipe ass, work in progress every day and see success. Wipe ass, work in progress every day and see success. Wipe ass, work in progress every day and see success. And remember, when people challenge you, they don't challenge you to challenge you, but they challenge you to challenge you. Accept the challenge. Salute. Interested in having an evaluation? Find my contact info in the description and schedule a consult to explore your options. Have a financial question but don't know who to ask? Email me at a.paul@cgwealth.financial and your question may be answered in my next video. Security products are subject to investment risks, including possible loss of principal. Before investing, carefully consider the investment objectives, risks, limitations, charges, and expenses of the product and any underlying investment options. This information can be found in the product and investment option prospectuses. Copies are available from your registered representative.